tissues. When we breathe, we can actually feel the movement of our chest. We have specialized cells called muscle cells. The contraction and relaxation of these cells result in movement. Blood flows and carries various substances from one part of the body to the other. Blood and muscles are both examples of tissues found in our body. The basis of the functions they perform, we can think of different types of animal tissues, such as epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue, and nervous tissue. Epithelial tissue. The covering or protective tissues in the animal body are epithelial tissues. Epithelium covers most organs and cavities within the body. It also forms a barrier to keep different body systems separate. The skin, the lining of the mouth, the lining of blood vessels, lung alveoli and kidney tubules are all made of epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue cells are tightly packed and form a continuous sheet. Different epithelium tissues have specific functions. For example, in cells lining blood vessels or lung alveoli, where transportation of substances occurs through a selectively squamous epithelium. Simple squamous epithelial cells are extremely thin and flat and form a delicate lining. The esophagus and the lining of the mouth are also covered with squamous epithelium. The skin, which protects the body, is also made of squamous epithelium. Skin epithelial cells are arranged in many layers to prevent wear and tear. Since they are arranged in a pattern of layers, the epithelium is called stratified squamous. In the inner lining of the intestine, where absorption and secretion occur, tall epithelial cells are present. This columnar, meaning pillar-like, epithelium facilitates movement across the epithelial barrier. Here absorption and secretion occur. In the respiratory tract, the columnar epithelial tissue also has cilia, which are hair-like projections on the outer surfaces of epithelial cells. These cilia can move, and their movement pushes the mucus forward to clear it. This type of epithelium is thus ciliated. Cuboidal epithelium, with cube-shaped cells, forms the lining of kidney tubules and ducts of salivary glands, where it provides mechanical support. Connective tissue. Blood is a type of connective tissue. The cells of connective tissue are loosely spaced and embedded in an intercellular matrix. Blood has a fluid, liquid matrix called plasma, in which red blood cells, RBCs, white blood cells, WBCs, and platelets are suspended. The plasma contains proteins, salts, and hormones. Bone is another example of a connective tissue. It forms the framework that supports the body. It also anchors the muscles and supports the main organs of the body. Bone cells are embedded in a hard matrix that is composed of calcium and phosphorus compounds. Two bones can be connected to each other by another type of connective tissue called the ligament. This tissue is very elastic. It has considerable strength. Ligaments contain tendons are fibrous tissue with great strength but limited flexibility. Another type of connective tissue, cartilage, has widely spaced cells. Areolar connective tissue is found between the skin and muscles, around blood vessels and nerves, and in the bone marrow. It fills the space inside the organs, supports internal fat-storing adipose tissue is found below the skin and between internal organs. The cells of this tissue are filled with fat globules. Storage of fats also lets it act as an insulator. Muscular tissue. Muscular tissue consists of elongated cells, also called muscle fibers. This tissue is responsible for movement in our body. Muscles contain special proteins called contractile proteins, which contract and relax. Some muscles move by conscious will. Muscles present in our limbs move when we want them to, and stop when we so decide. Such muscles are called voluntary or striated muscles. The cells of this tissue are long, cylindrical, unbranched and multinucleate. The movement of food in the alimentary canal or the contraction and relaxation of blood vessels are involuntary movements. They are controlled by involuntary muscles. The muscles of the heart show rhythmic contraction and relaxation throughout life. These involuntary muscles are called cardiac muscles. Heart muscle cells are cylindrical, branched and uninucleate. Nervous tissue. All cells possess the ability to respond to stimuli. However, cells of the nervous tissue are highly specialized for being stimulated and then transmitting the stimulus very rapidly from one place to another within the body. The brain, spinal cord and nerves are all composed of the nervous tissue. The cells of this tissue are called nerve cells or neurons. A neuron consists of a cell body with a nucleus and cytoplasm, from which long thin hair-like parts arise. Each neuron has a single long part, called the axon, and many short, branched parts called dendrites. An individual nerve cell may be up to a meter long. Nerve impulses allow us to move our muscles when we want to. The functional combination of nerve and muscle tissue is fundamental to most animals.